what I love about crypto is its ability to disrupt all the different industries in the world, and none more so than gaming. Gaming's obviously a huge industry. There's 3 billion players around the world playing games at the moment, play video games, and only 1% of them actually play to earn games right now. So crypto games are tiny in comparison to the whole market that's out there. So there's going to be a big growth in this market.
All right, welcome back everybody to Altcoin Daily. My name's Austin, here with Aaron, joined by Spencer Taring, founder of GAMESTA. I pronounced that correctly, right, Spencer?
You did. You got it there.
Awesome. Awesome, man. I'm one for one. Now we know each other. I think we're in like Telegram groups together. We've been on Around the Blockchain before, but I still wish I knew more. So before we get into GAMESTA, would you just go over your background and how you got into crypto?
Yeah, definitely. So my name's Spencer, obviously from the UK. You can probably tell from my accent. Serial entrepreneur, been doing lots of businesses since I was a young kid. So I've never had a real job. So school to the University of Life. My first business was actually a web design company back in 1997. And that was back when people would ask me, why would I ever need a website, Spencer? Obviously, that was a long time ago and seems quite a stupid comment now. That business turned into kind of quite a big data center business, actually. So we were building large scale redundant data centers in the UK. And I sold that in 2012, quite a bit of money, and moved out to China, where I became a DJ, believe it or not. So I've been DJing for 10 years out in China. And that kind of also led me into Bitcoin mining. So obviously my expertise was in building out data centers, and I was in China, and that's obviously where a lot of the Antmine stuff is made. Loads of cheap electricity. So I was asked to build up these mines, and I built quite a few large-scale mining centers out there with thousands of ASIC miners and GPU rigs. So that was quite interesting. That was kind of my first step into cryptocurrency, and then I became a big Bitcoin believer. I'm a bit of an anarchist, as you can say. I think the whole world is going to move, or have to move, to a Bitcoin standard at some point. It's inevitable. Might take a few years yet, but it's definitely coming. So after that, moved out to Bali in 2020 with Corona stuff going on, and had a year off, and then decided to get back into business. And GAMESTA is a result and combination of all those experiences come together, I think.
Very cool. Very cool. So let's jump right in. What is GAMESTA? Tell me everything.
GAMESTA is a fund to help underprivileged gamers around the world, mostly in Asia, to get access to the in-game NFT market and play to earn games that are revolutionizing the gaming industry right now. As we know, it's very expensive to buy some of these NFTs. Some of them are they're just not, you can't get them if you're not a very wealthy individual. And it's a shame because players can't get to use them. So what guilds do, and what GAMESTA is doing, is we go out and we buy these assets, and we effectively loan them out. We don't charge to loan them out, but we do a profit share with the gamers. So the gamers get to use these high-end assets. They earn a yield with them, and then they split those profits basically back with the token holders, the GSG token holders. So we're in effect indirectly linking investors and capital with players that want to go out and play these games. And obviously there's lots of complicated bits going on in between that, but in a nutshell, that's what GAMESTA does.
So you make it, as a player who wants to play the games, they would come to you in GAMESTA because you make it affordable for them.
Yeah, they have no upfront costs, so they get to use the NFTs that we own, and any profits that they earn or any growth on that asset that they earn gets split between them and the investor. So it means they've got no capital expenditure. Obviously, a lot of these players coming out of Asia are from very underprivileged backgrounds, so they just don't have the capital to be able to spend on buying some of these big assets. And the earnings that they can make from play to earn stuff is, life changing for a lot of these people. So it's really great to be able to do something that, one, we manage to generate value and actually make money for investors and, of course, ourselves, but we're also affecting people's lives for a good way. We're giving people opportunity to make a difference in their life and giving them earning potential. So it's kind of a win-win for everyone.
Right. I'm thinking, of course, about the wild success of Axie Infinity at a certain point. I don't know if it's still like this, but it's like, oh, now it costs like $600 just to start, or, you know, whatever the amount of money was. It was expensive just to start if you needed those NFTs. And then we heard about people like borrowing them from other things who I guess are similar to the service you provide. So yeah, I mean, I guess as play to earn games only get more popular, definitely going to need stuff like this.
Yeah, sure. Axie is obviously the leading play to earn game, and it's come to prominence in the last 6 months. They actually started that back in 2018 when they first started developing Axie. But in the last 6 months, GameFi's really kind of come to prominence as an industry. But there's going to be many more games, and there are obviously already many games, including metaverse-based games such as Sandbox and Decentraland, which are going to start implementing these play-to-earn models. So what I love about crypto is its ability to disrupt all the different industries in the world, and none more so than gaming. Gaming's obviously a huge industry. There's 3 billion players around the world playing games at the moment, play video games, and only 1% of them actually play to earn games right now. So crypto games are tiny in comparison to the actual the whole market that's out there. So there's going to be a big growth in this market, and we could find that this paradigm shift is actually splits the crypto prices away from the traditional 4-year cycle of Bitcoin. It's going to be interesting. Let's kind of see what happens in the next 6 months, but we're all excited to see.
That's very interesting, and maybe we'll come back to that. But first, just as we're explaining GameSta, like guilds are already a thing in the real world without blockchain. Correct me if I'm wrong. But what are the benefits now that all this transparency is on the blockchain? And also, what are the features of your guild compared to the competitors?
Sure. So there's obviously, there's a number of large guilds. You'd probably be able to just do some research. One like YGG, GGG, some new ones like Merit Circle, which raised a huge amount of money through Copper Launch, which we'll talk about later on. And I think there's a lot of space for these guilds in the market. So I wouldn't call them competitors in a way. We're actually working in collaboration with a lot of these guilds, sharing information, etc. But what we're doing to differentiate ourselves from other guilds is implementing AI and machine learning tech. I'm a big data guy. I come from a background of IT and data collection, and I wanted to take all of the information that's public knowledge out there, because it's blockchain, everything's out there, and start to build data sets that we can apply machine learning to try and work out 2 different things. We want to improve our decision-making process on which assets to buy. So why does that NFT, why is that worth what it says it's worth? Is it a good value? Is that going to generate a good yield? And then secondly, we want to use AI and ML to activate our players and motivate them in an efficient way. So the better players will get access to better NFTs, and they'll be able to see the leaderboards of where they are, and we'll be able to work out, right, how do we motivate these players in the best way? And in using those 2 styles of AI, we're able to get better prices on our assets and get better yield on them. So it basically just improves our decision-making processes at that point. We're going to be spending the next couple of years really building up all the data within our platform. And we might even start sharing that data. So we're hoping to maybe become kind of like the center of research and data for gaming industry.
So give me a practical example. Like that, we can use Axie, or you can list some other blue chip games, but like people in the guild would go on these quests or just earn these NFTs and they'd bring it back to the guild, and then like walk me through exactly how this works.
Okay, so as a player, you would join our guild, you'd apply to join our guild, you go through the onboarding process. At the moment, we have that in just a very standard way, but we're building a platform to enable all of this to be very, very automated. But you would go through that onboarding process, and during that process, you would learn about how to play the game. So it's open to people that are new to get into gaming, into GameFi. And you would then get access to be able to use some of these Axies, for instance, if they want to play Axie. And you'd obviously start at a lower level, so you get access to some of the lower level NFTs. You'd learn about how to use it. You'd start to improve your gaming ability, how much you're earning from the game. And then we would basically do an automatic payout from the earnings you get from that NFT. And the way that the payouts work is, for instance, if we're earning SLP from the Axie, that SLP will be automatically converted back to GSG through our smart contracts. And then GSG is the mechanism and the token which we transfer value to everyone, including the gamer, our treasury, and the investors that are, or the token holders that are staking the GSG.
Cool. So I think you just briefly touched on this, but your token, the use case of the token, could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so the use case of the token is, as a token holder, you're able to stake that token on our platform and receive yield from the earnings of the NFT. So it kind of gives you an indirect access to the assets under management that we have. So if we have $10 million of assets, the tokens are reflective of that price and the additional utility that we're adding on top of that from the token. So it's actually a great way of having to get a really good token value, especially during our raise. The more money we raise, the more assets we have under management, the higher the token price. So it's kind of like a self-perpetuating value of the token there.
Spencer, I'm going to ask you a hard one now. It's,
Okay.
hard enough.
Oh, those ones are easy, were they?
That's right, dude. Now you've entered the lion's den. This one's the hard one.
Okay. Okay.
It's hard enough for crypto people to predict, where will the market be at the end of this year or the end of next year. But give me the bull case for GameSta in 5 years. What does success look like?
Okay, so the bull case, we just touched briefly on what I think we might see as a kind of a separation between the traditional 4-year cycles of Bitcoin with gaming, because it's such a profound shift in the industry. For me, in 3 years' time, 4 years' time, there won't be a game that doesn't have NFTs in it, that doesn't have a cryptocurrency based into it. All the big boys are going to have to step into it. They're slow coming into it now because they don't want to cannibalize their current market. It's kind of like Blockbuster and the Netflix story. They didn't want to destroy their easily rentable DVDs, or they didn't have DVDs back then, did they? But they didn't want to destroy their easily rentable videos, or whatever they were format they were on, because this new format was coming along, renting on the internet, and it cannibalized their market. So no, we don't want that. And then suddenly they didn't adapt and they're out. And I think that a lot of the big gaming market companies like Epic and Rockstar are going to be like, right, we need to start addressing this now. We need to be at the forefront. And those adopting that technology are going to, I think, reap the benefits. And obviously, GameSta wants to go along with this trend and grow with the market, because I think we've got 100x growth just in this market and the growth of video gaming at the same time. So we've got a double whammy when it comes to the potential upside in this industry. And GameSta wants to be a place where we can really activate many players from around the world, make a difference to people's lives when it comes to those in underprivileged areas, and generate value for all of the token holders that are buying our tokens. So everyone gets a chance to benefit. And I think that we can successfully grow our fund over the next 5 years and become one of the most influential players in the market. My background is in getting businesses from start to finish, from conception to existence, and that's what I think I'm good at, and I think I'm going to be able to deliver on GameSta, and I'm looking forward to the challenge very much.
I'm interested, to be honest with you. I'm intrigued. I'd love it if you could finish this sentence for us. What the Altcoin Daily audience needs to understand about GameSta today is...
You need to understand this is an excellent opportunity to be very early in the market. We are disrupting a huge multi-trillion-dollar industry here, and there's a lot of opportunity for you to get in at this early stage and support companies like ourselves that are striving to make a difference.
Awesome. And let's piggyback off that. First off, reminder to the audience, never invest any money that you're not willing to lose. Invest in crypto, as we've seen from this recent market, can be incredibly risky. So everything on this channel, at least, is for informational purposes only. But give us, what else didn't we cover? It's launching, or it has launched. Give us the details.
Yeah, so we've obviously done our private rounds, and we raised $8 million in a private round over the last month, and we are launching on copperlaunch.com. We're doing an auction there using the BLBP balancer pools, which is basically an open source contract on Ethereum to enable kind of price discovery over 3 days. So instead of going through an IDO, we basically put out a certain amount of tokens, set up liquidity, and over 3 days there's price discovery. So during those 3 days, anyone can contribute, maximum or minimum. There's no amount that you can stop at. You can put $1 in, you can put $1,000 in, it doesn't matter. It's a much fairer way to launch, and it's a great way to get price discovery. And we're also running a contest at the same time, so that anyone who contributes during that auction, or anyone that buys any tokens, instantly gets put into a prize draw to win a Tesla Model X, a brand new one. So very excited about buying those. I've never even owned one of those, so I would love to give that away to someone. So we've been looking at promoting that over the last few days, and that goes live on the 16th, which I think we're already the 16th. Is that right? So you can go to that link right now. I think you guys have kindly put the link in the description. They can go and buy those tokens, and they would just need to follow these steps on our contest page to make sure that they register their transaction with our system, so we can prove who it is that did it. And we're also giving away some black GameX card NFTs, which are kind of like our super cool NFTs, which give extra utility. You can read all about that on our website. So there's a lot going on, and it's very exciting.
I will put the link down below in the description. Again, do your own research, make your own decisions.
And follow all the laws from your respective country, for sure.
100%. But I guess just give us like final thoughts in general, anything we didn't cover, or general thoughts to the Altcoin Daily audience.
Ooh, general thoughts. Well, I think we've kind of touched on, you've got to be careful about what you invest in definitely in these days. And I think we've seen that there's kind of been a bit of a wave in the Bitcoin price. I think that gaming's going to be going to separate itself away from the Bitcoin cycle. There's good opportunity here. We're working hard to deliver our product, and that's my focus, really, just working hard to generate value for everyone involved. So we'd love to have those people support, and anyone can join in the Telegram group, chat away. I'm always in there, so available for questions. Just fire them in, and I'll try and get back to everyone.
And when you say gaming could potentially, crypto gaming, separate it from the rest of the market, obviously I understand what you mean, that people will still playing fun games. They'll play it year round in a bear market, bull market, which can be a huge separation. But that also means like, oh, maybe a bear market for crypto gaming is only a 50% dip or 60 instead of 90. It's not, there's not going to be no bear market, but in terms of the building and the onboarding of new users, that could keep growing. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that it's not just this industry as well. I think that's also why we're not seeing a massive blow off top for Bitcoin at the moment. And I don't think we're also going to see a huge drop. We're just going to see the market gradually maturing as it kind of gets into more industries. There's more infrastructure, there's more people involved, and you're just getting more stability in crypto, which is great to see, because we're all here because we believe in its potential and its profoundness. So it's great to see more industries adopting it as the standard.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. Links are down below for Spencer, but I can't wait to keep updated on the project.
Good. Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me on, guys.